Hello, somebodies. We are the Nobodies. What are we doing here today?
Today we are interviewing the great Dave Lowmiller and Chris M. Jones, a.k.a. Jonesy, a.k.a. Shred Rogers.
Yes.
How are you doing today, guys?
Oh, I can't complain any more than anybody else. Right?
You're doing wonderful.
Yeah, it wouldn't do any good anyway, right?
No, at this point, there's a lot going on that we can't even complain about anymore.
I love the honesty behind that, by the way. Beautiful.
We're just keeping it real. We're all friends, right?
Sure. So we have so many questions for you today, and I hope you could answer them all.
Yes.
We'll start off. Please introduce the band, the whole band, and what they play.
Well, it's myself. I'm Dave. I'm one of the vocalists, and I play bass and do all of the keyboards and programming. We also have Kay Papale, our drummer. We have Abe Robertson, our lead guitar player. We have Melrose is the other vocalist in the band, and she plays guitar as well. And Jonesy, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yep. So I play guitar and occasionally do backup vocals as well on recording.
All right, I gotcha. So I wanted to get this out of the way right away. I saw A Dark Halo has a lot of video game soundtrack history, and I noticed one of them was WWE Day of Reckoning 2. I played that years ago. That is so cool to me. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, there's actually trying to make a long story as short as I possibly can. There's you can't really understand A Dark Halo without understanding the video game DNA of the whole project. So a lot of us, including Mel, myself, Abe, we're full-time video game developers. So we're in these studios working on these projects. It's really, really cool. Like I said, I can't complain. I am hashtag blessed to be working on all of this stuff. And A Dark Halo got onto that soundtrack, the WWE soundtrack, when the executive producer for that project. I was working at a studio called Rainbow Studios at the time as a senior sound designer, and the EP on that game came into my office one afternoon and said, "Hey, we're light on music, licensed music for this WWE product. I heard that you guys have you got a band going on outside the building. Can I check it out?" And I was like, "Yes, sir. Of course, sir."
Sure.
Yeah, you got it. We had 2 songs done at the time, Burn It All and Beyond Recall, and I showed it to him, and he gave me this, this will do, let's ship it. And that was kind of a crazy dream come true, because we hadn't even put the first album out yet, and all of a sudden, A Dark Halo is being heard in WWE Day of Reckoning 2, and we gained a following from that's been loyal to us and loving, and has been around this entire time ever since that game came out. And what was that, like 2006, 2007?
Yep.
Yeah, and they've been with us the whole time. So we're super lucky to have had that opportunity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, no, you first.
Yep. Yeah. And at that time, just to put in perspective too, it started out as Dave and I. So we were in the studio as a 2-piece originally. And so that was just amazing to have that experience happen. And now, we've had this loyal following that's followed us all these years. And now we've grown to this great project.
Well, you've done more than just that game. You got a slew of games, right?
I have, yeah. I am a sound designer by trade, and I'm lucky enough to have worked on Battlefield, Dead Space, Call of Duty. I did write the score for Deadly Creatures. Did some score with Raymond Herrera for MX vs. ATV franchise. He's the drummer from Fear Factory originally. I've been in the games industry slanging audio for 23 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and hey, somebody's got to make zombies puke on other zombies, right?
Yeah, that's a great sound. It's iconic. Yeah. So, with just you two guys, and then into Dark Halo, were you guys initially formed, like planning to be just a video game soundtrack kind of band, or like was it we want to be a metal band and go into that?
The game thing, the game thing was sort of tertiary or in our orbit, because like I said, it's funny. It's just the professional circle in which we run. But Chris and I had known each other for a long time. We had met through a mutual friend and started playing in a band when we were like 19 years old or something like that, in like 1999, 2000 ish. And we had a good time playing with all those cats. But you know how being in a band can be. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of logistics, and kind of because of the fact that I was going into a studio every day and being exposed to the latest audio production techniques and tools, it sort of just seemed natural that to try and do a band without doing the whole band thing. Like, we don't need a practice space. It seemed like the future. It's 2005, right? We don't, no more drums, no more practicing, right? And so Chris and I decided to get together and like, hey, let's try this band thing and let's use some of this tech. Let's use Superior Drummer had just come out. We're using Native Instruments Complete 2 at the time had just come out. I had all this stuff in my studio at home, felt like Superman on Earth, like we can do anything we want. And it became this twice a week ritual, I think it was, right? Like Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? Where Jonesy would come over and we'd write some music, and then we'd play too much Street Fighter and too much Mortal Kombat. We'd write some more music, and as the songs started to come together, in parallel, I had my game career and that whole thing going separately anyway. And then I guess luckily, but maybe not entirely surprisingly, they started to cross over a little bit. Yeah. So
Chris, you got some side projects going on too, correct? You want to talk about you got Shred Rogers just came out with a song, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So earlier this year, I decided to launch Shred Rogers. It's something that's been stewing for a long time. In my personal life, I actually did many years ago work briefly at Rainbow Studios. So there was a time I was also in the game dev world. But my career and my life has gone towards fostering and adopting children, and then helping my local community. And I'm finding there was a period of time where I wasn't doing much with writing music, but I was inspired listening to nursery rhymes with my now oldest son. That like, man, I want to hear like a really heavy version of a kid's song. Usually you hear about like nursery rhyme versions of popular music, but not the other way around. So I started to like think about it. And so this year I launched Shred Rogers, and it's meant to be like family friendly, yet authentically heavy metal, where, people can listen to it with no fear or hate or anger or evil, nothing in it. It's like meant to be wholesome in a way, but yet have all the tropes of metal. Like, once I do perform someday, I will have the white face paint with like a rainbow design in place of black, but it'll be like the black metal look. And I can pull it off. Yep. So the first song I released was a instrumental called Alive. And then, yes, last Friday, I released Baba Black Sheep, which I like to say is my Viking Norse black metal response to the nursery rhyme classic.
Beautiful.
So did the like, I guess, wholesome choice of music have anything to do with like the fact you foster as well, or?
Yeah, I found that, well, so it really, the core of my path in music, and now, like, when Dave and I started with the Dark Halo, I was coming to Dark Halo as from a place of already, even then, like, I'm tired of, like, I love the heavy music, but some of the stuff can really bring you down. And I wanted to keep something heavy and try to contribute in a way that, like, maybe it'll help people. Maybe we can, like, write about stuff that will help people. And what was really cool, like Dave mentioned, we came out with that album. We were on WWE, and then there was a period of hiatus. Well, we come to find out that there's been like a lot of soldiers that were in Iraq during, the 2000s have come to us randomly over the years and said, dude, we listened to your album to survive, like on the front line.
Oh, kidding.
And I've even had people, and Dave's probably had similar stories coming to us like, you saved my life. So it's like, it's interesting how, and I'm just speaking from personally, like my intention musically, starting all the way back with the Dark Halo, was do something that sounds kick ass, but can help people. And it's been working. So Shred Rogers for me is like a further extension of what I bring to Dark Halo. But even more so, like I want to like someday like get on stage with the makeup and put on the Shakrath voice from, Dimmy Borgir and say, "All right, you silly people, ABC 1, 2, 3," and go. So right now I'm working on Wheels on the Bus is my next cover.
Sounds
sick. I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Oh my god, the cleanup song. I'm hyped.
Yep.
All right, so back to a Dark Halo. That was awesome, Chris. Thank you for that. So, how does the writing process go for a Dark Halo? Is it emails? Do you guys all get together?
It's little column A, little column B. We, like I said, when we started the project, Jonesy would come over here twice a week. But now we live in 2 different states, and Melissa lives in a third. So luckily we do have tools like Zoom meetings for bands. We have, we do exchange ideas through email. It usually starts with one of us has come up with a riff, or another starts throwing it around to the rest of the band. The rest of the band chimes in, "Oh, this would sound great if we did this, X, Y, and Z." Drafts come together, stems come together, and then eventually everything gets assembled on my workstation here and sent out to our mixer for mixing and mastering.
Have you guys specifically noticed yourselves like getting better over the years too, since like you started compared to now?
I'd like to think so. I personally feel like a more well-rounded songwriter, which I guess just partly comes from years of getting older and experience and perspective. But also, we are lucky that we are a completely 100% independent project. And so we can do anything we want. We own the label. We do all of our own video production with our friends and colleagues. So it's really freeing as a songwriter to know that really the only people that we have to satisfy at the end of the day are ourselves and our fan base. Nobody in between. So that's a blessing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask because I noticed that your YouTube channel is what is Heavy Armor Records channel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is? How come it's not a Dark Halo?
Well, we had when I made the Heavy Armor Records LLC, and who knows, maybe we'll get to that point. I had thought, wouldn't it be awesome if this metal co-op that we've got going for a Dark Halo, and I should really get into this too. There's something like 15 people working on this project, and when you include all of the people working on our art, working on the videos with us, colleagues all throughout the industry, and it's this metal co-op that exists for the sake of making art. So it kind of occurred to me like, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if I could identify other artists and help them in the same way that we're helping each other? So that's what the Heavy Armor Records label was built for, is an expandable, modular entity that, hey, we've got a Dark Halo, but maybe we've got another band. Right. And maybe we'll get there. Maybe we won't. Maybe, it's occurred to me on more than one occasion to just change the name of the channel back to a Dark Halo, but I paid for the LLC and the logo, so I guess I'll keep Heavy Armor Records and we'll see.
Hey, listen, if someone puts a Dark Halo on YouTube, it comes up, so it's not like it gets lost, you know what I mean? Because that's what I was thinking. Like, would the band get lost? But every time I punch in a Dark Halo, it never sleeps, just shows up right away. So
we've been lucky in that way. The search results on YouTube or the web in generally will point you right at us if you search a Dark Halo. And yeah, Heavy Armor. Fingers crossed. Maybe someday we'll help some other bands.
I'm sure you will.
Very unfortunately, when you look up the Nobodies, you get Marilyn Manson videos. So,
Yeah, that's all you get. Marilyn Manson. We're lost. We are nobodies. Like really. So
It Never Sleeps.
It Never Sleeps.
Let's talk about
it. Wow, what a song! It's so heavy, it's so melodic, but it's just got so much power and feeling. Now, what genre would you put yourself in if you had to put yourself in one?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Spotify has decided that we are a genre called cyber metal, which is fine, and I guess it's I guess that kind of works because, like I said, we are making music over the internet quite frequently. We incorporate a lot of there's synthesizers in there that I loved your reaction, by the way. It made me smile from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Well, your song made us smile, so don't worry about it.
Your song made us smile. It was great.
But y'all identified all of those elements that sort of point towards us being cyber. I remember you calling out the horror movie Violins and calling out the that sort of vintage synthesizer that's doing the meow meow meow. Just layers upon layers upon layers of stuff. When we have in the past played live, we have to use backing tracks because there's no way that we could.
Oh yeah,
there's no way that we could haul 47 synthesizers and a decent sized orchestra with us. So I think that puts us solidly in cyber metal. But we also Jones, I'd love for you to chime in here too. We've got some elements of there's some death metal. There's definitely some prog metal for sure.
Yeah, we do like the DT Dream Theater in our camp. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, cyber metal. I think we lovingly fit in that genre. Back in the day, I think the only other term we called ourselves originally was tech metal, but I think cyber metal is the same thing and it's better sounding.
Mm-hmm.
So, being that you're a shredder, Chris.
Shred Rogers. Makes sense.
Shred Rogers. That song really didn't have any shred moments. The solo was awesome. It really there was some shredding going on in there, but it was more power chords and just straight balls to the wall, punch to the face. Metal riffs. So how does a person like you? How does it feel to slow down?
It's funny you say that.
You see that? He's like, oh.
No, it's I just love getting this question. I haven't been asked it yet, so it's fun to think about and answer. Dark Halo has always been, as a guitarist, a different experience, especially because I come from a Metallica, Pantera, Sepultura, Morbid Angel background, like those kind of bands. Where, yes, I mean, I naturally, when I pick up a guitar, I'm just like, the rhythm guitar. It's all about rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Black Sabbath starting off with, and then all this other stuff I mentioned. But the Dark Halo, I've always had to purposely think about it as I am a piece of the whole. And the music is designed that the guitar plays a rhythmic role and a color. So those kind of songs, I love playing that. It's just as exciting. And some of our catalog, like even like if you listen to I Revenant, there's not a lot of shredding, but it's quite challenging to play. Even like the riffs on there, because there's some like pinch harmonics. You have to go down 4 different strings to get to the pinch from the lowest note. So it's still challenging in a non-traditional sense.
Okay.
Gotcha. So what made you guys decide around the horror elements you used, and I guess the horror video itself for It Never Sleeps? Where did you guys shoot the video? Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. So that video started as well. Let's start with where it wound up, which was that sort of dualistic message of there's a monster chasing you, and you fight it with your friends. And originally it was going to be 2 separate pieces. So It Never Sleeps was going to be from top to bottom, just the ugly part. And just the monster chasing you. And then the friends getting together, propping each other up, humans being bros, taking care of each other. That was going to be a separate piece. As we were writing the song and putting together the video production plan, it sort of it was suggested to me by other members in the group that we merge the two ideas. And after thinking about it for a minute, I thought, well, y'all are smarter than me, and I know that, and that's a really good idea. So I took the suggestion, and we did the first half of the song is whatever inner demon is chasing you. That's on the listener to imagine. It can be whatever it needs to be. Depression, alcohol, divorce, whatever dark thing wakes you up in the middle of the night and bites you in the ankle and won't let you go. And we've all dealt with those things.
100%.
100%. We've all dealt with those things. And then the second half of the video, and the reason that we're all dressed up in that tactical gear, body armor stuff is, but that son's a bitch is chasing you around, but we can fight him, and this is how. And that's why Mel and I are standing back to back, sort of almost like taking an oath or reciting a vow, right?
Yeah.
If you fall, then so I do. We will fight this thing together no matter what. And I think that's an important message that, I mean, we've been, as a society, we've been talking for decades and decades about we need to get better about reaching out to each other. And this is just our small contribution to that conversation that,
nice.
Yeah, there's demons chasing everybody, but one of the lines in hand, we will break it.
Well, it had to be one of the most beautiful duets that I've ever heard. The singer's voice is, what's her name? I'm sorry.
Her name is Melrose.
Melrose, yes. Oh my God, her voice. I heard it in Afterworld too. It's like, it's like just angelic.
She is just that. She's a whole other situation, and we are so lucky to have her.
Yes, she's beautiful.
We got lucky getting her into the project, having discovered her in probably the largest active band in the cyber metal genre is this band called Mechina. And if you haven't checked them out, when we get off this call, you got to go check out Mechina. And Mel is a contributor to that project, which is where I first heard her voice. And man, after we had been looking to add a full-time second vocalist for some time. We knew we wanted to add a woman to the project.
Right.
I very, very, very sheepishly approached her for that Afterworld collab, and it just went so well that we all decided, like, we kind of knew, oh, this is going to work. This is our fifth member. And
that's great.
I mean, those duets are just my favorite thing to write. I'm a lucky composer to be able to be in that spot.
I was going to say, probably my favorite part of the song was the duet near the end. It was really freaking good.
Yeah, we're gonna be reacting. He hasn't heard it yet, but we're gonna be reacting to Afterworld very soon.
That's sort of our whole thing. He listens to the songs. I
listen to the songs, and I'm like, Jonathan, this is a banger, man. We have to hear this one. So
cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I love the drummer. The drummer, the way she freaking headbangs with her hair whipping around like that. It's so much. Like she tells a story with her head.
Kay is Kay. Yeah, let's talk about Kay for a minute. Kay is a monster.
Yeah, she.
So we found her in 2019 when we were starting to get the project back together, and we were originally based in Phoenix. Now we're based out of Austin, Texas, and we were hunting for months and months and months, doing the whole. Let's check the local musician, Craigslist, band pages, all of that. And we were renting a studio and holding auditions, and we met some really, really awesome people. But my wife had become involved in the hunt at that point, and she found Kay and set us up. And Kay came into the audition and just destroyed from the word go. She had learned all of the new songs. She had learned all of Starfall, which we had done at that point. She can play anything. There's no right answers when you're asking somebody what are your influences, but she gave us all the right answers. She's like, oh, I grew up on Pantera and Dream Theater, and just like coming from a drummer, that's like, yes. And yep. she is a professional musician in every sense of the word. Her drum kit is her livelihood. That's what she does for a living. She plays in all kinds of bands. She's played all over the world. She plays around the local Austin circuit frequently. It's just get up, drums, go to sleep. She's a machine.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, based on what you said about It Never Sleeps, would you guys consider doing like a 3-part song sort of thing, or it's like one song and one video has one story and then it follows into the next 2 videos? Because that actually does sound like it'd be pretty cool.
We've never done anything quite that concept-y, although I will say that the next song that we're putting out is sort of a direct prequel to It Never Sleeps, because the thought was sort of unfinished. It Never Sleeps starts and like it's flashing red, there's blood everywhere, it's kind of relentless, right? So the next song is going to be, how did we get here in the first place? Oh, I see it on the horizon is kind of the next song. And we have done sort of spiritual successors to some of the older songs, like the one on the video game, Burn It All. It's burn it all, right? Mm-hmm. And then we put out this other song, Flame Betide, which is kind of, hey, I burned it all. What have I done? Right?
Oops.
Yeah, oops. Yeah, maybe that was too far.
Nice.
So Chris, I gotta ask, how long you been growing that beard for?
It's an impressive beard.
Yes, this version has been 6 months.
That's it?
Yeah.
Takes me about 10 years.
I can't grow anything here, but it's just
the most I get is a pedo stash.
What's that?
The most I get is a pedo stash. What the hell?
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, like my life is literally my family and music, and not only is this my metal beard, but it's my youngest 2-year-old's like comfort thing at night when I'm putting him down. And no, I do not do death metal lullabies.
I was gonna say, do you play death metal lullabies to him? Go to sleep now.
Yeah,
exactly. I have to go to sleep.
I like that. What if there's not a song called "Go to Sleep Now"? There
has to be a song.
There's gotta be, right?
So, I guess you both could answer this, but what do you guys have for the future for the band? Videos, tours, albums?
Please, brag.
Well, we are working on finishing up our second album, Omnibus One, which Jones.
This is the artwork for it.
There you go.
Oh, that's sick.
So that giant tetrahedron, which I won't spoil it, but you will see it floating around in videos such as Afterworld. Right. Yeah, there's a 3D model of it, and we're releasing it in sort of a. We've been releasing everything in a very it's 2022 kind of way, instead of disappearing for years and years and writing an album and then dropping it all at once. Every time we finish a song, we have been releasing it with a video, which is something that we really learned from watching very closely bands like Spirit Box. I don't know if y'all are into them, but
Spirit Box.
Oh yeah, it's metal industry 2022. Whatever Spirit Box is doing, like that's kind of what you should be doing. So watching bands like that, we got it in our heads to finish a song, make a video, put it out, get them Spotify hits, finish another song, put it out with a video, get them Spotify hits, and really sort of try and, you can like it, you can not like it, but Spotify kind of is the music industry right now.
Now it is, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
No one's putting albums out anymore. Now they're just doing singles.
Right? So we've been trying to take advantage of that and make that system work for us as best we can, and put stuff out, pitch it to the editors, try and get into the editorial and algorithmic playlists. And we've had some success with that. But now we're at a spot where we're just about to finish the 7th single, in that production mindset, which will bring us to 31 minutes of music at 7 songs, that's not the world's longest album, but that's an album in anybody's
an EP.
books.
Yeah, it's an EP.
Yeah. It's on the shorter side, but it's long enough for us to put the disc together, have the physical unit so that you can do some of the networking things that you can't. Radio stations still want a disc.
Yeah.
Promoters, labels, sponsors, they still want a disc.
Sure.
So even though the single and video thing is working better for us algorithmically, and as far as growing a fan base goes, it's much more effective. But we need that tool for 2 reasons. One, because like I said, we need it you kind of need the disc as a business card. And the other reason is fan service. Quite honestly, there's still a lot of people that follow us that want a CD to hold, and we want to give it to them. And we've got some secret merch stuff.
You want me to show it?
Are we gonna see some secret merch?
You know what?
It happened here first on the Nobodies.
Yep, it is. This is the first reveal. This, because it is everything's independent, right? This is a limited run because there's only so much we can afford.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll release more details as we're ready.
So, I know you just showed us the secret merch, and maybe I'm asking too much, but I don't care. What about donors? Anything coming up with that?
Yeah, we are still trying to figure that out because a Dark Halo historically has played live shows, and we quite enjoy it. But one of the pitfalls of us being in the position that, and this is one of those blessed positions to be in, because we're able to recruit talent like Melrose, because we have talent like Jonesy in another state, getting together and practicing in a practice space is challenging. In fact, that's kind of off the table. So it doesn't mean that we can't play. It doesn't mean that we can't rehearse. And it doesn't mean that we can't, fly together and play shows if we want to fly together and play shows. But we've been so laser focused on the music. I mean, we fly out here to shoot music videos. I mean, it's just a plane ticket away.
Yeah. It's great.
We've been so focused on the media creation that we haven't really definitively worked out how live is going to work. I want to do it. I think everybody in the band wants to do it, but we're trying to get this crazy plastic tetrahedron with 7 songs and extras out, which is sick.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we always ask the bands this. What would you say to anybody trying to get into the music business and just starting to play, or they're already in and where they have to go? What would you say to them?
Oh, I think the first thing I would say to them is bangers only. We've thrown away. I've thrown away, I don't know, 50-80% of the stuff I've ever written for a Dark Halo.
Mm-hmm.
I and the entire band, we have this quality bar that we will not release beneath. So I don't want to have. Could the Omnibus 1 album be 15 songs long? Yeah, absolutely it could.
Yep.
But there's just stuff that doesn't make the cut. And when you adopt that bangers only attitude of really, you have to be hard on yourself, because it's sort of counterintuitive. Hey, I wrote a song, so it's good because I wrote it, right? That's an easy, natural human thing to fall into. But if you sit there and you're hard on yourself and you get into someone else's head and really listen to the song as a first-time listener would listen to it, you'll know this is a banger or it's not. And by adopting that mindset, even though we're slow, we're one of the slower bands on the scene. I am confident that everything we've put out, I don't lose any sleep thinking, could we have tried harder on that song?
Mm-hmm.
Could we have made that one note better? It's like, no, we threw everything at it. And if And if you go read any articles provided by, like, Spotify for Artists is great. There's just a ton of resources that they provide to artists, and they'll tell you the same thing. Hey, you can get a promoter, you can go do all this stuff, advertising XYZ, you can do this to build your platform, but if you're not writing bangers, you don't have the foundation. So hone your A material and be honest with yourself. That's what I would say.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, and I'll to add on to that too. What I've learned over time is that as you spend a lot of time on learning what your part is. Like, do you want to be a composer? Do you want to be the best rhythm guitarist? Do you want to be the best bassist? Right? Learn the craft and like really work hard at it first. When you get to a place that you're realizing that I got this, like I'm at a comfortable spot, then figure out what your niche is and then just go for that niche. I could have done other projects over the years, right? But I've gotten to a place where, like what Dave says, I hold myself to a high level of quality because I know I've put the hard work in to get to where I'm at. But then also, like with Shred Rogers, that's my niche. Like, okay, so I found a niche and now I'm just going to go all the way. I actually just heard a quote today from watching a Conan O'Brien interview. He was talking about John Candy. He had a chance to meet John Candy when he was very young. And here at the time, Conan O'Brien was a Harvard student and he wanted to go into comedy, knowing that why would I choose something that I'm not going to make any money at or the risk is there? So he asked John Candy, hey, I want to be a comedian. What do I do? John Candy sits there. He goes, you do it or you don't. So, you decide you're going to do it. And then, like Dave said, you go to the resources, find out, what the successful people are doing, and you emulate what they're doing, right, for the success. But then at the same time, hone your craft and how you want to fit in that. So,
yeah, there's lessons everywhere. There are so many smart, so many brilliant musicians out there, and I kind of love that about what the industry looks like these days. Sure, there are very real conversations to be had about without albums, without supergroups, without labels holding the influence that they once had over the record industry. How is one to make a living? Those are very real conversations. And yet, at the same time, there are all these tiny little miracles of, let's take a band like Spirit Box, of Courtney and Mike up in a basement in Vancouver with all of the technology that they need to be the number one metal band on the charts for 7 weeks in a row. Great equalizer. That you couldn't have said that in the 70s, 80s, even the 90s. But now you can go pick up a PC or a Mac and have an emulation of any console, any drum kit, any guitar amplifier, anything you want. There's
a million different sounds out there.
It's there, and we can all get them on Black Friday sales for $39.
That's great.
True, correct.
Well, listen, you guys have been absolutely amazing. We love your music, and we will definitely be reacting to more of your music, and hopefully this isn't the last time we do this because I'm sure there's so much more to talk about. On that note, we're going to end, and we want you to be part of our outro.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So everyone, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and tell us down in the comment section below who you'd like to see on the channel. Dark Halo, thank you guys so much for joining us today. This was a very fun interview, and honestly one of the most insightful ones I think I've ever done. So very appreciated. And remember to press that little bell next subscribe button to get notified every time we upload a video. I'm Son.
And I'm Father. And you are?
I'm Dave from A Dark Halo.
I'm Jonesy from A Dark Halo.
Yeah, let's go. Recon.